So tell me, first of all, DrDaveAlbert, Dr. Dave.
Yes, ma'am.
You really have defined a lot of what digital health is for so many people by launching Alivecor 11 years ago, 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago. And so first of all, tell me about yourself, and then we'll kind of get into Alivecor and really why it's so important.
Well, Jill, I'm the old man. John Nosta says I'm the father of digital health. I'm actually the grandfather now of digital health. I turned 65. I actually have a Medicare card. But people also see me do my pull-ups and my push-ups, and I'm a physical fitness health nut because I know, despite the fact that I've spent almost 40 years treating really serious problems in heart disease, the only way we can really address the issues we have of cost and access is by preventing. And that's what digital health's about. Yes, my company got in and we make devices and we pioneered over the counter. And oh, by the way, what did that do? Oh, it simply attracted the biggest company in the world to compete against us.
Yes.
The good news is they didn't kill us. In fact, they accelerated the growth of our business, which I think we're kind of unique. I think there's probably some surprised people in Cupertino that they didn't kill us.
Well, before you move on, let's talk about what Alivecor does.
Well, Alivecor makes now several products that are personal heart rhythm monitors.
Okay.
So your heart beats hopefully like a metronome, and it adapts to what you're doing. So if you're on upstairs, it beats more. If you fall asleep, it beats slower. But there can be problems with that. The most prevalent problem, something called atrial fibrillation. Your heart its beating becomes disorganized, becomes irregular. And so we really pioneered enabling people to buy and access that technology direct to consumer. We're at the Consumer Electronics Show. And back 10 years ago, I made a 4-minute video that I thought was going to 2 people and went to 500,000 people in 3 days and started Alivecor. Yes, you remember.
It was awesome.
And it was an accidental viral reaction to my video. And that really triggered the start of Alivecor. And we found that people didn't go crazy, and the FDA experimented with us. I think they believed we were an experiment, relatively low-risk experiment. Let's see what happens if we take this technology that's traditionally only been in hospitals and doctors' offices and make it available to consumers.
Right.
10 years ago, I said, I'm going to make a device, and we're going to sell it for $99. People laughed at me. I can tell you, big companies laughed at me. Nobody laughs at me anymore. They don't laugh. We sell hundreds of thousands of devices a year. And we're used by, you can buy a device on Amazon, but every major medical center in the country tells their patients to buy Alivecor.
So who's your customer?
It's not the normal demographic that you think of when you think of wearables or smartphones.
Okay.
Over 50% of our customers, are older than me. They're older than 65.
Wow.
Why? Because atrial fibrillation is a disease of aging. It rises exponentially after the age of 60. The other side of it is over 50% of our customers buy it because their cardiologist tells them to buy it. So they appreciate, the doctors, that this is a cost-effective way. They understand the cost of healthcare. They don't make any money off of this. But they know that if they prescribe a traditional type of monitor that somebody might wear for a week or a month, the copay will be more than the Alivecor. And that just gives them a snapshot, doesn't give them, long-term viewing. And so that we had a niche. I had a crazy idea. It turned out not to be so crazy.
Not so crazy.
And I came at it. I'm going to be giving a lecture here in a few weeks at Cedars-Sinai. I came at it from the side of I'd been in medical technology.
Yes.
So unlike many of the people who've been in digital health who have struggled, many of them downstairs in the show floor who will struggle, I knew what it'd take. I knew what it would take to get through the FDA. I knew what it would take to get doctors to accept it. And that was validation and clinical studies and things that I'd been doing for a long time. since I left Duke Medical School long time ago. And that gave me an advantage. So not only did I have a good idea and really, when smartphones were novel, and by the way, very few people over 65 had a smartphone in 2010.
Yeah.
Now almost everybody does.
Yes.
We got before my father-in-law died, we got him on one. And so I would tell you that I was fortunate. I could say lucky. My wife she believes less in luck. She would say blessed, that we had a convergence of smartphones and elderly. And, oh, by the way, I want to see my grandkids. And so we're going to get grandpa or grandma a smartphone. And then we're going to teach them how to download apps so they can have Instagram. And those things happened at the same time. This whole thing of digital health. People wanted to take more control. Mm-hmm. They didn't just want to be patients being told what to do by their doctor. And we had pioneers like Eric Topol, who has never taken a dime from Alivecor, but is a huge supporter of ours. A good friend of mine, and I'm very proud of the support he's given us, put us in his books and talks about us. And we were successful to the extent we kind of were living in the wilderness with doctors and cardiologists knowing about us. And then 2 years ago, we started advertising on television. We advertise on CNN and MSNBC and Fox. And of course, I get attacked. Why are you advertising with that so-and-so Sean Hannity? And I go, let me tell you something. In 1981, I said, I'm a Democrat. But in 1981, I took a Hippocratic oath. I don't ask people if they're red or blue or liberal or conservative. If they have heart disease, we're going to help them. So what's his demographic? It's my demographic.
It is your demographic.
I mean, I can tell you, angry white men get heart disease.
Yes, they do.
And they're watching his show and they're getting pissed off. And so I want to help them because they need my help. And so we don't discriminate.
Excellent.
If you need our help, we're going to help you. And so we advertise, and so we built a brand. And so when the biggest company in the world decided to bring out a competing product, they helped us. And I didn't think so. I was petrified.
Were you a little?
And our CEO, we thought we were dead. And I have to give credit where credit's due. Our chairman of the board is a guy named Vinod Khosla. And he said, best thing that ever happened to you. And he was right. Our sales went up dramatically, and they have continued to grow. So I think, again, it's, I was surprised. I thought we'd be dead, but we're not. Just the opposite.
Women's health has kind of been ignored a lot. Now, there's starting to be a lot of gurgling under the earth that is about to explode. And some people think of women's health only around pregnancy and everything, but it is much broader than that. So I'd love to get your thoughts around it, especially in line with what we're talking about here, which is, heart disease and heart issues.
Well, almost half of our customers are women at Alivecor. They get heart disease just like men. In fact, little known fact, more women have died of heart disease in the last 30 years than men in the United States. That's a shock. That's a fact. It comes from the American Heart Association and the CDC statistics. Nobody understands that. And so there are two major problems, Jill. First problem is that for many, many, many years, and still today, women get dismissed with regard to heart disease. Now, cardiologists know, and yes, we've trained many more women doctors, but as you said, female health is not just OBGYN.
No.
And so many people think that's true, and it's just not, okay? So it's not just breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So I think in heart disease, we've had women be dismissed. They've been undertreated. So they don't get bypass surgery and stents and heart valves at the same rate that men do. That has to change. And the second thing is they're different. They're not just men with ovaries and breasts. Right. They're not. And because of that, they manifest their disease differently. So whereas when you're having a heart attack as a man, the classic symptom, they take their fist and they go, I've got an elephant sitting on my chest. It's what we call crushing substernal chest pain. That's not necessarily the truth with women. Extreme fatigue, onset of extreme fatigue is a hallmark symptom of a woman having a heart attack. And so, we've just now, we've known that for maybe 10 or 15 years really well and trained people, but they still get dismissed. So you have both sides, the fact that women are different and the fact that they're treated differently. So
Yeah.
both of those add to create that statistic I told you, which shocked me. I mean, I hadn't paid attention to it. And it still shocks some cardiologists when I tell them, and I point them to the CDC statistics. So what I would tell you is, women are the chief medical officers of their families.
Yes.
And they are the sandwich generation. So they take care of their kids and their parents. They take care of their husbands. Oh my God. It's just
a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, your parents, your son.
Yeah.
You are cute. You are the woman.
You're the woman. Yeah.
You're it. And because of that, a lot of them ignore themselves. And that's another issue. We've got to get women to take care of themselves.
It's exactly, oh God,
I mean, I can just tell you,
singing a song to me.
I'm the husband, father, and grandfather of women. And the husband and father of strong women, and I'm sure I'm going to be the grandfather of a strong woman.
Yes, you will.
And we've got to change. You know, we've got to change how we treat women all across the board, but certainly in healthcare we have to change. And we have to get women to be part of that change, and not just women doctors. I mean, my good friends, Noelle Berry-Mers at Cedars-Sinai, Leslie Saxon at USC.
Yes.
These are, my wife's on the faculty at USC now at Keck, and I'm an investigator with Noelle at Cedars-Sinai. These are great, strong women. They understand it. They teach it, but we need like 100 more of them.
Yeah, you do. I think women wanted to give it away. I don't want to speak for every woman, but I think we really wanted the children. We wanted the family. We wanted the job. We wanted the do-it-all mentality. We wanted that. And I don't think we should be mad that we took that, but I think it's time to take some back.
I think it's time to take care of yourself, Jill.
And it's easy to let that go, but I feel like we got to just like rein them back in and just take some time back. And, thanks to some suggestions that you have even given me in the past, I dug in this year. I was like, I'm picking one thing. It's my workouts. That's what I'm picking, and blah, blah, blah. And you probably see me on the posting my Peloton stuff. I stopped posting so much, but that was like a big thing. Like, can I commit to that? Okay, next. What can I commit to next? How do I, build the routines that are going to...
Well, you're exactly right. It is building routines. Recently, there's been a lot of press and a lot of buzz. First, it was the keto diet.
Yep.
Now it's intermittent fasting.
Yep.
Okay. And personal, totally non-objective ad. My son is now the director of weight loss at Cedars-Sinai. Newly board certified internist, phenomenal doctor, and he is so totally committed. So he is he is working with their bariatric. No, I've given him lots of referrals because he's fantastic, and he has his own journey. He was an athlete like me, and in college, in medical school, first college, fraternity, beer, medical school, long hours, no time, residency, no time. And it kind of halfway into his residency, he said, I weigh 180 pounds, I'm 5'8". He weighs what he did in high school as a junior, not even as a senior, as a football player. He was a defensive back. And so I can tell you, he inspires me. And so I've been doing it. He says, Dad, you inspired me. I said, I get it, but dude, if I inspired you, it's because you inspired me. And so, we reinforce each other.
Yep.
And so I would just tell you that that's something really important. Just like Dr. Oz says, we have to take control of our lives. Women must take control of their lives. Yep. Exercise. My wife, I'm on her all the time now, and she knows, and she's like, I got her AirPods. We've got in our apartment, we have an apartment in LA, we have a fantastic gym. And I tell her every night, I said, she comes home, she's tired, she's seeing patients all day.
Yes.
And I get it, but we got to make time. You've got to make time. Even if it's 15 minutes, you got to make time.
Absolutely.
And so
we're building it in, because we're never going to be really motivated to do it. But
I'm not motivated to do it.
I know. Well, every day let me tell you, it's a chore.
Yes, ma'am.
And but it's so fantastic when you're done.
It is. I did it. I got up at 6:30 this morning so that before I came over here, before I put this nice, I've never had a feather bow tie before.
It's
everybody knows a
beautiful.
bow tie.
I love it.
It was a gift here, a birthday gift.
I love it.
Somebody said, Dr. Dave, your 65th birthday, you deserve something.
You deserve
said,
a
you have
feather
one of these?
tie.
I said, I do not. I am. Thank you. So,
okay, I have one question for you. How might technology disrupt wellness for women in the next decade?
well, I think, first of all, we've seen a lot of things having to do, the notion of a breast self-exam, that's old. But there are technologies that can help women. These mirrors. Oh my God, I am so excited about that technology. That it shows a woman and it shows her and then it shows a light and says, do it here. Now do it here. And then she's got a glove on and it can feel it. That kind of tactile visual technology, that can help. Okay? Just like Peloton and all, they were a leader. They're kind of like the Alivecor of this home exercise.
I think they are too.
They led with this home, do it at home, do it in privacy, do it so you're not embarrassed. That's all true. That's totally true. And when I see somebody struggling at the gym today, I go up to them and I encourage them because I know, they look at me and go, and I go, you understand, dude, bravo to you. You make me feel like everything I do is worthwhile. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for everybody you love. And so I would tell you, technology will help women. And then, I'm not going to shy away from sexual health. Women have a lot of sexual health problems. Men do too. But they're not as, we can't just take a pill. Women can't just take a pill and solve a lot of their problems. And so there are all kinds of issues. Women who have babies, all kinds of situations. It is complex and it's different than men. And it's been underrepresented by technology. So I was happy to see it coming into the open.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I think there's a lot of taboo things that are changing and becoming untaboo. Everything from mental health and sexual health,
mental health.
to even, as I was talking earlier to Sleep Score about sleep. We used to brag about how little sleep we got, and now it's no longer a merited badge that we deserve to brag about. So I think I think we're starting to see that shift, and even in the conversation, which I believe has to happen first. We have to have the conversation first.
Well, mental
and the
health is huge.
Mental health is so big.
It's huge, and it's been such a stigma in your work. People have been so embarrassed.
Yeah.
So privacy.
Yeah, we did a study with Kantar this year, and they believe the possibilities are there. They believe that the technology will do these things, but they're highly unsure of their privacy.
And everybody's worried. I mean, you give Cupertino, give Apple credit. They said your data stays on your phone. It does not go to the cloud. And they kind of pointed their finger at other companies.
Yes.
And legitimately so. I mean, Google's been caught several times now, whether it was over in England or here. They are a data vacuum cleaning company. That's how they make their money. And I think everyone's, my good friend, Rob Califf, is now, he was the second author of my first paper at Duke. Hiring good people doesn't mean you're going to listen to them. Your business model's still the same. So you've got to make sure we trust that business model. And I think they've got to build that trust.
Well, all I can say is I can't thank you enough for stopping by my living room.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
And I hope maybe one day we can sit down and talk a little bit more around women's health and maybe dive a little bit more specifically.
Absolutely.
But I think it's the fact that you were able to bring out the nuanced difference of even heart attacks for women versus men. That alone to me is a aha. And hopefully we'll start to recognize symptoms better. Hopefully the physicians will as well.
And by the way, get some rest. You deserve it.
Oh, well, that I'm going to do.